Hello and welcome to the Grand Line Review, your source for everything One Piece. Today we are going to continue our journey into the obscure facts presented within the ever-expanding Vivia Card databook by covering the new information presented within the Sabadi Archipelago booster pack, of which we'll be covering about half in this video, but it is the very exciting half that covers all of the members of the worst generation. I mean minus Luffy, Zoro, and Blackbeard, of course. But that still leaves us with a lot of exciting characters to touch upon, and once again all thanks go to the Library of Ohara for the translation of this vital information. And as per usual, a link to Arta's website will be in the description below. So let's get into it. And you know what, we're going to begin with what I feel is the most intriguing entry in this pack, which is Jewelry Bonney. Now I am immediately going to throw up a spoiler warning for her, because this card does contain spoilers from the future of One Piece, such as the Reverie and Wano arcs. If you don't wish to be spoiled, then just mute this video until this little warning goes away, but for everyone else, here is some intriguing information. First up, it is confirmed that Bonney has some sort of connection to Kuma, and that he is the entire reason why she infiltrated the Holy Land of Marijois. Rather interestingly, it states here that Bonney has sworn revenge upon a certain group of people, so that could be the world government, the world nobles, the Gorosei themselves, or whatever else. Speculate away, but it's really nice to be given a hint of her driving force as a pirate. Although I do find it really intriguing that she is a pirate, considering that the Revolutionary Army had the exact same goal of helping Kuma, so I'd be keen to find out why she didn't just join up with them. But it doesn't stop there, because the card also claims that in her old woman form, Bonney does bear a striking resemblance to the famous queen, Connie. So Connie is a real person in the One Piece world, although the card does not go into detail about if the two are related, or if in fact Bonney is indeed Connie. Speaking of abilities though, oddly enough, Bonnie's card details that her powers do have to do with manipulating the ages of those around her, or indeed herself, but it does not actually state that this is a devil fruit ability, which isn't to say that it's not. The card just for whatever reason doesn't say that it is, which is odd because other worst generation members with unnamed devil fruits do still state that they have fruit powers, as we'll see in the coming entries. However, one piece of truly solid information we do receive is that Bonnie's blood type is F. Now let's take a look at the entry of Eustace Kid, who according to this has developed the goal of becoming the most violent pirate out there on the seas, as a form of rebellion against the quote-unquote scum of the world. So that sentence is quite vague, and it doesn't make clear whether Kid despises the world government, the world nobles, the general citizens of the world, or all three. But it looks like he does have some pretty deep issues with the world in which he lives. Regarding his arm, the card tells us that Kid did indeed lose it during the time skip in one of his many fights. It does not say who managed to take it, how or why, just that it happened and it's now a thing. Although the thing I find most interesting in regards to Kid's entry is that he apparently rules over his crew with evil charisma, which is fascinating because I'm now just picturing him as a really sadistic Luffy. Oh, and it is also confirmed that his devil fruit abilities revolve around magnetism, and of course the tidbit we all needed to know is that his blood type is F. As for Kid's subordinate and fellow Worst Generation member, Massacre Soldier Killer, I'm afraid that there is almost no new information revealed about him, except for his blood type, which is X. And sadly, the same goes for two other Worst Generation members, being Capone Gang Beige, who I suppose we do already know quite a bit about, but also Mad Monk Arouge, which is really disappointing, because all we get from this in regards to the two of them is their mutual blood type of S. Luckily, here comes Basil Hawkins to the rescue, and his card does go into a bit of detail about his devil fruit powers. So as I think we already knew, it gives him a limit of tanking 10 lethal attacks, which get passed on to his subordinates. But apparently the methodology by which Hawkins achieves this has to do with him placing the living essence of his subordinates into his straw dolls, which is kind of weird to think about because his devil fruit in and of itself really should not grant that kind of power. Plus there's also his tarot card abilities. Now the databook does state that Hawkins believes blindly in these readings, 100% certain that they will be telling the truth. So that does make a couple of statements during the early Wano arc very intriguing indeed, but his cards also hold various powers, many of which inflict negative outcomes upon Hawkins and those around him. So using them in combat is a pretty big gamble. However, according to the databook, the cards do also bestow positive effects that can grant truly unimaginable power, and it's safe to say that we manga readers know this to be very true. Not only that, but they also grant Hawkins a truly unimaginable blood type, which is S. Moving to another person of interest, we have Diaz Drake, whose motivations are somewhat cleared up by his entry. Apparently, Drake challenged Kaido's forces with the plan in mind of becoming one of his subordinates all along. And not only that, but Drake felt it necessary to pursue this outcome at all costs. So there's a pretty strong drive towards some unknown goal happening with Mr. Dinosaur here. Drake also has a lot of secret information regarding the Marines, specifically to do with special projects like the Pacifista and such. I mean, given his association with the organization, it's unlikely that he has any current intelligence, unless this whole piracy thing is just an elaborate triple-cross situation, and he is still working for the Marines. But when you think about it, his former rank as Rear Admiral was actually quite high, so it's natural that he would be privy to some secrets. Also, apparently Drake took a particular interest in the alliance of Monkey D. Luffy and Trafalgar Law following the defeat of Doflamingo. This may have to do with the idea that Doflamingo's defeat did directly affect the Beast Pirates, as he was a supplier of Smile Fruits, or you know, it may have to do with something else. Some sort of super secret Drakean motives, perhaps. In any case, his blood type is X, which is pretty funny because there's also an X in his name, although it's pronounced as Diaz for some reason. Speaking of names, this is probably just me being strange, but Scratchman-Apu is up next, and up until this point I'd always read his name as Scratchman-Apu. You know, man being singular and men being plural. But that's something I just do in general. Like I was reading Robin's mother's name as Olivia instead of Olvia my whole life, or Mother Carmel as Mother Caramel. My head just sees what it wants to see in certain cases. But what we do get from his entry is a simple confirmation that he does indeed possess a devil fruit that allows him to create sound from his body through a wide variety of musically inclined means. Oh, and his blood type is the rarer XF type. And the final entry we'll be covering here today is that of Trafalgar Law, of which there is not a whole lot of new information, but once again we already know essentially everything there is to know about this doctor/captain. But there is one cool thing stated here in the Vivia card, which is that he named his crew the Heart Pirates after Rocinante, who held the title of Corazon, meaning heart in Spanish, as well as for the fact that Rocinante changed Law's heart for the better, which is just heartwarming. But not as heartwarming as Law's blood type, which is F. And look, surely that's technically true, right? Blood warms the heart in some capacity, yeah. But that pretty much does it for this edition of One Piece Vivia Card. If you enjoyed this video and the content this channel produces in general, then please do consider donating to the Grand Line Review Patreon, because the support of all of you amazing people is what continues to make this channel possible. And if Patreon isn't quite your style, then please do leave this video a like, share, or subscribe, because it also helps support this channel an incredible amount. And if you'd like to join the fun at any time, then please do head over to my Discord server, where a wide array of shenaniganry takes place on a daily basis. And finally, please do comment with your thoughts on this wonderfully obscure information. This has been the Grand Line Review, and I'll see you next time. Well then, let's see what the cards have in store for us today. I'll just pick this one and,